unit called Rome full of people wearing this armor. And we have a very specific battlefield maneuver that we stole from Wargar called the pain train. How the pain train works is you take two individuals, you set them in the front line, and then you stack the biggest individuals you can find, about 10 deep behind them, and you charge them straight at the enemy lines. Now, here's the thing about being one of those front two guys. You are no longer a warrior, you're no longer a soldier, you're no longer a combatant. You are ammunition. You are going to die. And so, at my very first event, fielding with Rome as a whole unit, I believe it was at Gates of Fire some years ago, and I was very eager to please the higher-ups for some reason. And so when our great leader, Diomedus, called for a pain train, I volunteered to jump into the line. And my loving commander and centurion, Tiberius, set me in my place in the line and then proceeded to stack the biggest individuals behind me. And it slowly dawned on me that I was no longer an individual, I was a projectile. But looking to make a good impression, I decided, well, in for a penny, and I tucked myself behind my shield and I waited for the orders, and when they shouted go, we charged at full speed towards the enemy line. Faster and faster and faster. And now if you've ever seen somebody in plate run or run in plate mail yourself, you know that once you start going, you don't stop. And when you have that many individuals moving behind you, momentum carries. And eventually I was moving under my own weight, sort of, but if I had stopped like moving my feet, they would have just carried me forward. And so I start nearing the line, and the Romans were prepared, and they split open and made a gap for us to slam into the enemy line. And as this gap opened up, I saw, standing before me, a small elven child. This poor individual standing there with a big grin on their face, elf ears, war paint, garb that was a little bit too big, and weapons too new for somebody who this couldn't be their first event and were using loner gear. And I realized in this brief infinitesimal moment that if I had just hit them square on, I was going to run them over, and then the 20 very large and heavy individuals in front of me were also going to run over and murder this child. And so I did the only kindness I could think of in this moment and went, sorry, bang, and sent them flying to the side, hopefully out of harm's way, and then I immediately did what you do and died. The day goes on, fights continue, and eventually we're in a different scenario battle, and one of our right flank starts to fail. And Diomedus yells out in his classic way, somebody go plug the right flank! And I, wanting to be the good soldier for some reason, said, yes, sir, and started running in that direction to go try and find a spot to just throw my body into. And I'm running parallel to the line, trying to look for an opening, and I see one ahead. And so I'm running, I gain speed, and I turn, plant, and there before me is the same small elven child. And unfortunately, I was in a similar situation of momentum carrying me forward, and so I did another kindness to them and went, sorry, bang! And for the longest time, I thought I deleted them from existence because I never saw them again throughout the entire event. You all have experienced this. You see somebody on the field and you see them just wandering around. And I was like, oh, I've never seen them again, ever. And I thought they just despawned until a few events ago, somebody came up to me after I told this story and informed me that they had heard the story before from the other perspective. And so I tell you this tale, as I will continue to do so, in an effort to find this small elven child and deeply apologize to them. Thank you.